Elara Vance sat rigidly in her kitchen, holding the official documents that had shattered her world. These papers detailed the acquisition of the house, the one her son, Marcus, Jamal, had purchased using her life savings. Her hands trembled violently, not from anger, but from a profound sadness that made breathing painful. She had just stumbled upon a truth she could never have conceived. Her bedroom door was ajar, allowing her to clearly hear the phone call Marcus was having with his wife, Serafina, Keisha. His voice, usually a source of comfort, now resonated with an unsettling excitement as he planned their future. "Yeah, baby, everything's all set," Marcus announced. "The papers came in today. The house is officially ours." He laughed, a sound that now grated on Elara's nerves. "Your mama is going to be so happy to live with us finally. Madame Rossellini will have her own room with the view of the garden, just like she always wanted." Elara's heart seized. Madame Rossellini, Serafina's mother, was slated to move into the house that Elara had funded, the house where Elara had envisioned her own dedicated space, a place to grow old with her family. "Marcus," she whispered silently, knowing he couldn't hear her. She remained fixed, compelled to listen. "Nah, baby, we already talked about this," Marcus continued, dismissing her existence. "My mom's fine in her apartment. Besides, you know how she is. She always finds something to fuss about. It's better this way, more peaceful for everyone, us, the kids, and your mom. A real family." A real family. The words pierced her chest like ice-cold needles. Elara, who had sacrificed her entire life savings, who had sold her own mother's jewelry, and mortgaged her financial peace of mind so he could own this house, was explicitly excluded from their definition of a real family. Memories, sharp and painful, crashed over her. 6 months ago, Marcus had sat at this very kitchen table, wearing that calculated, sad puppy dog face he used when he needed money. He had presented his dream, a perfect house, 3 bedrooms, a yard in a nice neighborhood. "I just need $20,000 for the down payment," he'd pleaded. "I promise I'll pay you back in 2 years, Mama, and of course, you'll always have a place with us." She remembered writing those exact words in her journal that night, ecstatic at the prospect of finally belonging, finally moving past the feeling of being a mere visitor in my son's life. Serafina's voice, sharp and commanding, broke the spell. "Marcus, baby, did you tell your mom about the plans yet?" "What plans, baby?" "The plans that she's not moving in with us, that the house is just for the 3 of us adults and the kids. You know my mom needs her peace, and we already talked about how your mom can be hard to live with." Hard to live with. Elara, who had reached 69 years without causing anyone trouble, who had raised him alone after his father left and worked double shifts to pay for his college. "I'm hard to live with?" she realized bitterly. "No, I haven't told her yet," Marcus admitted. "I figured we could talk about it after the move. You know how she gets when things change." They discussed her as if she were a difficult child, not the woman enabling their entire financial leap. Elara rose and walked silently to the window. It was raining, and the drops sliding down the glass mirrored the tears she refused to shed. She reflected on her life, 25 years working in a drab office, meticulously saving every dollar by denying herself small luxuries, always buying clothes on sale and packing her lunch. All that sacrifice was meant to provide security in her old age so she wouldn't be a burden. Now, she realized she was considered a burden regardless. Serafina's voice, practical and natural, delivered the final blow. "Baby, I think we need to start figuring out how we're going to tell her. Maybe we could suggest she find a smaller apartment, something more in line with her needs, You know, something more affordable? More affordable? Now that they had secured her $20,000, now that they had obtained what they wanted, it was time for her to find a cheaper place, as if her primary needs weren't the love and company of her only family. She heard Marcus's footsteps approaching. She quickly settled down, pretending to scrutinize the electric bill, masking the fact that her world had just crumbled. "Hey, Mama, how you doing?" Marcus asked, his voice affectionate and normal. "I'm good, son. Are the papers for the house all set?" "Yeah, perfect. Everything's in order. We'll be able to move in soon and start a new chapter." A new chapter for everyone, but her. "That's good, son." Alara managed, controlling her voice. "I'm happy for you." He leaned in and kissed her forehead. That gesture, once tender, now felt like a scathing mockery. Like the kiss of Judas. "Thanks for everything, Mama. You know this wouldn't have been possible without you." Without me, she thought, but also without me in the future. The irony was crushing. When he left, Alara was left with the document certifying that her son now owned a $150,000 house, $20,000 of which came directly from her life savings. A house where his mother-in-law would receive the cherished garden view room Alara had dreamed of. She placed the papers in a drawer, the one holding bills, prescriptions, and now her lost dignity. But something fundamental shifted inside her, a change, cold and clear. For the first time, she didn't feel like crying. She felt like acting. That night, she couldn't sleep. She reviewed every warning sign she had ignored, the times Marcus and Serafina treated her invisibly, and all the money they borrowed and never repaid, what she just called helping family. At 5 a.m., she rose, driven by necessity. She prepared her coffee and sat down with her old notebook, usually used for monthly expenses. Today, she meticulously listed every amount given to Marcus over the previous 5 years. The list was devastating. $2,000 for a used car, $800 for transmission repair, $10,000 for school supplies and uniforms, $700 for Serafina's dental work, $3,000 for credit card debt, hundreds more in smaller amounts, and finally, the $20,000 for the house. The total made her dizzy. $48,300 in 5 years. Money she had saved since the age of 18, denying herself vacations and using the cheapest brands, all for obligatory Sunday visits where she sat silently, and for grandchildren like 8-year-old Leo or DeAndre, who found Grandma Alara so boring. Money spent so she could be excluded from birthdays and dinners because they didn't want to inconvenience her. She closed the notebook and retrieved her shoebox containing her vital records. Her will, drafted 3 years ago when she turned 66, left Marcus everything: her apartment, her savings, her life insurance, and her grandmother's jewelry. Everything for him, her only son, my only family, my reason for living. How naive I was, she reflected. At 7 a.m., her phone rang. It was Marcus. "Hey, Mama, how you doing this morning?" "I'm doing good, son. You need something?" she asked directly. "Well, yeah. Serafina and I were talking. We were wondering if you could help us out with a little something. With the move, there are some extra expenses we didn't account for." More money is always more money, she thought. "How much do you need?" "Just $3,000, Mama. For the movers, some furniture, paint for the rooms, to get the house perfect for when we move in next week." Next week? He hadn't even told her the moving date, nor invited her to see the house she paid for. "Marcus, can I ask you something?" "Sure, Mama. Anything you want." "When do I get to see the house?" Silence. Well, Mama, the house is still getting some minor work done. When everything's ready, we'll take you over there to see it. You don't want to see it all messy, do you?"
And when am I going to move in with you? A longer, heavier silence followed. Mama, about that, he stammered. Keisha and I have been talking, and we think maybe it would be better for you to stay in your apartment for now, until we see how we adjust to the new house. The kids are going to be nervous, and Keisha is stressed with her new job. Her new job? Yeah, I didn't tell you. She got a position at an accounting firm. They gonna pay her real good, almost $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month, yet they still needed her $3,000. Money she would have to pull from her dwindling savings, which she used to live on, along with her $700 a month pension. Marcus, she said, gaining strength, I need to think about the $3,000. Think about it, Mama. You've never had to think before when I asked for help. Is everything okay? No, son, nothing is okay, she thought. Everything's fine, son. I just need to check my accounts. I'll call you in a few days. But, Mama, we need the money by tomorrow. The movers are already pressuring me. I'll call you in a few days, Marcus, she interrupted, hanging up the phone. Her hands trembled, but it was determination. She moved to her computer and logged into her Continental Trust National Bank online account. After giving him the $20,000, she had precisely $2,300 left. Only $300 separated her from financial destitution and complete dependence on a son planning her expulsion. She called the bank. I need to talk to someone about my savings account. I want to make some important changes. As she gave her information, she felt control for the first time in years. She was finally making decisions about her life and money. How can we help you today, Ms. Vance? Ms. Jones? I want to remove my son as an authorized beneficiary on my account. I also want to cancel the additional debit card that is in his name. When asked for a reason, she simply replied, personal changes in my family situation. The real reason was that she had discovered she had been financing my own exclusion, with every dollar being an investment in my own future loneliness. Very well, Miss Vance. Anything else? Yes, I want to know about my options for changing my will. The representative confirmed they worked with specialized attorneys and offered to send information. When she hung up, she felt like she had taken the first step toward a new, necessary path. Moments later, Marcus called back. Mama, did we get disconnected? What happened? We didn't get disconnected, son. I told you I'd call you in a few days. But Mama, I need to know about the $3,000. The movers are already pressuring me. Marcus, have you ever wondered if I needed help with anything? What? What are you talking about, Mama? I'm worried about you. Are you feeling okay? It's not necessary, son. I just need some time to think. Time to think, Mama? I'm only asking for $3,000. It's not major. You've always helped me. I've always helped you. But when was the last time he helped me? She wondered. I'll call you when I have an answer, Marcus. But Mama, seriously, you're scaring me. You've never been like this before. I've never been like this because I've never been so clear about what's been happening. I've never felt this mix of pain and clarity that's given me the strength to do what I should have done years ago. She firmly disconnected the call and turned her phone completely off. She sat in her living room, and the silence, which usually caused pain, now felt full of possibilities. Looking at her 69-year-old hands, she promised herself, they won't give another dollar without receiving respect in return. For the next 3 days, Marcus and Serafina called incessantly, 27 missed calls and 15 texts. Even her 8-year-old grandson, Leo or DeAndre, left a voicemail asking if she was sick because Marcus told him that's the reason she wasn't answering. The final message confirmed her course. Mama, if this is about the house, we can talk. Maybe we can find a solution for you to have your space too. But I need you to help me with the move first. Then we'll fix the other stuff. Marcus, 6:30 a.m. today. The other stuff, she realized, was her dignity, her place in their lives, her right to be in the house she financed. All of it could be fixed later after he secured the money. Ilara prepared for her day, dressing with care. Her first appointment was at Continental Trust. Miss Anderson, the professional woman who had helped her earlier, greeted her.
"I came in today because I want to make some additional changes," Ilara said. "I want to open a new savings account, completely separate from my current one, and I want to transfer $10,000 from my main account to this new account." When asked for a reason, she stated, "I want to have better control of my personal finances." Miss Thorne understood, noting that many older women needed to protect their funds from family members who treated them as an unlimited resource. Ilara arranged for the new statements to be sent to a post office box for security. She left the bank feeling secure. $10,000 was protected, guaranteeing her a more stable future. Her second appointment was with counselor Alistair Reed, attorney Michael Carter, the estate lawyer recommended by the bank. She objectively recounted the story: the $48,300 given, the $20,000 down payment, and the exclusion plan. Counselor Reed noted that her case was not unique. Ilara explained her desired changes. "I want my inheritance to be divided differently, part of it for Marcus, but I also want to leave some money to charities, especially those that help older women in vulnerable situations." Counselor Reed offered an additional suggestion. "I also suggest we consider setting some conditions for your son's inheritance. These conditions could mandate he fulfill certain commitments while she was alive, such as medical care, regular visits, and inclusion in family decisions." Ilara found the idea intriguing, yet sad, reflecting on the necessity of legal contracts to ensure respect. She agreed to review a draft the following week. Leaving the office, Ilara realized it was 2:00 p.m. and she was hungry. Breaking her routine of making a sandwich at home, she walked into a small diner. It had been years since she ate alone, usually dining with Marcus and paying the bill. Today, she ordered pan-seared salmon and a glass of white wine. The meal cost $35. Before, it would have seemed extravagant. Today, it felt like a necessary investment in my own happiness. While she ate, she received a text from Marcus. "Mama, I can't take it anymore. I'm coming to your apartment at 4 p.m. We need to talk." She had 45 minutes to prepare. She decided she would not yell, nor dredge up past mistakes. She would simply tell him the truth. Her decisions about her money and life were final. She arrived home at 3:59 p.m. and sat in her favorite chair. At 4 p.m., the firm, impatient knocking of someone used to immediate attention sounded at her door. Before opening it, she took a deep breath, reminding herself, "This is my house. This is my money. This is my life. And for the first time in years, I'm going to act accordingly." She opened the door. Marcus was there, flanked by Serafina, who wore the familiar expression of feigned worry. "Mama, thank God you're okay. We were so worried," Marcus exclaimed, reaching for a hug. "Hello, Serafina," Ilara said, ignoring Marcus's attempt at contact. "I'm not a child, Marcus. You caused me more distress in the last 3 days than I've ever caused you." "Mama, what are you talking about? We're a family. We need to be able to talk about things." "Talk about things? You talked about me, but not with me," Ilara countered. "You discussed how I'm hard to live with and how you were going to put me in a more affordable apartment, all while using the money I gave you for your real family. You talked about me like I was a burden, not a person." Marcus paled, exchanging horrified glances with Serafina. "Mama, that's not what happened. We were just planning to use me and then toss me aside. The $20,000, Marcus. The $48,300 I've given you over the last 5 years.
Did you think it was an endless well? Did you think my love for you was a transaction you could get for free?" Marcus began to weep, and Serafina intervened. "Keisha and I have been talking, and we've changed our minds. We want you to live with us. We'll make it work, I promise." "No, you won't," Ilara said calmly. "You only want me to live with you now that you think you might lose something. You don't want me because you love me. You want me because you're afraid you'll lose access to me. But you've already lost me, son. You lost me when you decided I wasn't part of your real family." "I am saying it, Ilara," declared firmly, "and I'm saying something else. I'm no longer the Bank of Dolores. Ilara, I am not a financial resource. The $3,000 you need for your move, you must find it somewhere else because you won't get a penny from me. Not now, not ever again." Marcus stared at her, the usual puppy dog look replaced with shock and hurt. He had taken her love and money for granted and now realized the well wasn't endless. "I need you to leave now," Ilara stated, her voice holding firm. "Mama, please let's talk," Marcus pleaded. "We have talked, Marcus, for 69 years, and now I'm done." They turned and walked away. Ilara closed the door, exhausted, but feeling profoundly alive. She sat down, realizing she had been so focused on others' needs that she had forgotten her own. She had constantly forgiven them and herself for allowing the mistreatment. She concluded that forgiveness doesn't erase consequences, and trust requires consistent action, not mere words. She couldn't predict if Marcus would change or manage without asking for money, but she knew one thing: I was no longer afraid to be alone, no longer afraid to say no, no longer afraid to stand up for my own dignity. She called her friend Beatrice, Leonida. "It was interesting," Ilara said of Marcus's visit. Beatrice suggested meeting at the park. "I would love it," Ilara replied. As she prepared to leave, she looked in the mirror and saw a 69-year-old woman who had learned that her worth was not measured by what she could give to others. A woman who had found the courage to claim her life back. And for the first time in a long time, Ilara Vance smiled.